smashed the homies. And that's just the truth. He seen what it was and he still decided to mess with me. So that's your decision.
That wasn't
you can't listen, everybody have a past.
We all have a
he
past.
was there because we're all friends. So you seen what I did. You chose to still with me.
He's seen what you did. 4 of them hit before 1 of them cuffed.
Yes.
Basically.
And he knows that all 4 of them hit.
I would never lie. Okay? I'm gonna be honest. A lot of people like to get on the mic and la and try to act like they something. I'm gonna be honest with y'all, okay? Y'all can learn from my mistakes.
But she's not the same
I made
person.
a lot of mistakes.
Right.
But it made me who I am today.
Knowing that he knows what he knows and accepted what he accepted, et cetera, can you respect him as a husband?
I would say 50-50, like I said, because there's a part of me that does respect him, and there's a part of me that didn't respect him. I would say didn't respect him because I didn't. I would talk to him crazy. I would treat him, crazy and stuff like that. But because the more I've grown and the more our relationship has got better and the more he's grown and become a better person and vice versa, it's made me respect him a lot more. So now he's starting to have boundaries and he's starting to have respect for himself and he's starting to be like, oh, I'm not dealing with that. You're not going to come around with that. So now I'm like, okay, you got it. So it's making me respect him more because he's starting to have confidence and high self-esteem in himself. Like I said, we trauma bond.
So we're going to address a few things off top before we get into the meat and potatoes. So the first thing is the liars on these podcasts. I just got done doing a video where I did a great edit where we triple played the woman lying about cheating on her guy or her guy cheating and stuff like that and not cheating, whatever. These chicks get on these podcasts and they try to make themselves look like the most ideal woman and they try to make it look like they never made no mistakes and that they just perfect and that it's all God's fault and stuff like that and they ain't never did nothing too freaky or it just be a bunch of cap. Nobody is gonna lie about getting bust down by 4 guys out of a 5-person friend group and then getting cuffed by 1. Nobody's gonna lie about that. For what? For what? So I salute her for having the, I don't care, I'll say it, the courage to keep it real about something like that on camera because that is damaging. Let's be honest. And that is why a lot of chicks lie. Now, this is the other thing that I want to address very quickly again before we get to the meat and potatoes. I want to address when she said, y'all can learn from my mistakes, which was cool. But the woman in the background saying, yeah, because she's not the same person. Listen, that is BS. And I'm going to give you an analogy very quickly. Let's just pretend that there's a serial killer. He's killed 3 people, right? He went to jail. He did his time. He gets out. You come across this guy. You might work at the same place together, the FedEx, Kinko's, whatever, because he's getting acclimated back into society. He's got a job. You think that he's really cool. You think that he's really cool. You guys really vibe well together. You find out that this guy killed 3 people for no reason in his past. Now you have to work with him because this is where you work. They hired him. He's just somebody you got to deal with. But there are 2 things that should happen naturally. Number 1, you begin to become cautious and you're not going to befriend him. But number 2, you make sure that you don't upset him because this is also somebody who has killed 3 people for no reason. You don't want to be the 4th. Now, when he gets out, he seems like a changed guy and he's, a church guy and all that stuff and everything seems to be going well and et cetera. He got this job, et cetera. But at the end of the day, he did that in his past 3 times. He's easily capable of doing it a 4th time. So that is just an analogy. I shouldn't have to go too deep into that. Anybody who hears that, it should be very simple. You proceed with caution or just completely eject from the situation, quit, get a new job, move out the state, whatever the case is. You might even protect yourself, whatever you got to do. But there's a reason you're going to do that because that person's past matters. And what they are capable of doing matters as well, especially in relation to you. Once you have this information, you can't move the same. You can't. You can't just disregard it and move like nothing is going on. That would be very stupid. And if you get clapped or whatever, you won't be around for the told you so moment. So that is an example that is devoid of anything as far as men and women dynamics. That is just social dynamics as far as friends, associates, and things of that nature, co-workers, etc. Now, when we get to this and we talk about the dynamics between men and women and stuff like that, and you apply that same logic, it should be easy to understand. And without me dragging it, if a woman is capable of smashing 3 friends or 4 friends in a 5-person friend group, if she's capable of it, really 5 because she married the last one. So if she's capable of smashing 5 people out of a friend group, and you decide to get married to her, and if for any reason she smashes your friend, how can you be surprised at that? Now, I'm not going to lie, and I'll give you some free game. This is what I would say as far as, anybody in any of these types of situations. What I would say is, okay, you got your expectation, and you might think, okay, this is the worst that could happen. My advice to you is think, what would be 2 steps worse than this? Because whatever you think the worst case scenario is, whether it be the killer or this situation and stuff like that, things don't usually pan out the exact way that you think they are. They may pan out a little bit worse. For example, if you get with a chick like this and you say, worst case scenario, she's going to smash one of my friends or somebody I'm close to or something like that. Take it a few steps worse. You know that semi-pro football team that you play with? She's getting banged by those guys, and she's making it content for her OnlyFans. And guess what? It goes on Pornhub, and guess what? It goes viral all over Twitter. And guess what? Everybody that you know is hitting you up like, bruh, did you see this? What's going on in your household? Like, just think about it to the extreme, because thinking about it to just where it could go, you might be fine with just where it could go, but you got to think to the extreme, because in some of these cases, especially when it's detrimental, it just don't be worth it. And now for the meat and potatoes. Like, let's just get it out the way. This dude is a deluxe simp. I have not seen no simpery like this in a long time, especially with me doing this on the internet. I've heard of some things in real life that were crazy, but when it comes to this, as far as since I've been doing reactions on this channel, I haven't. This is the worst. I'm pretty sure this is the worst that I've seen. Like, it's cuckoldry. That's what it is to me. You know the crazy thing, because yeah, there are a lot of like incels and stuff out there. Like, it's definitely possible. If you could get her, you could definitely do better. If you could get a chick that smashed all 4 of your friends, you could do better, bro. I don't care what you got going on. I don't care what type of coochie deficit you got. You could do better. Now, this is the funny thing about it. She says that she didn't respect him. And it's very ironic, because this is the one that chose not to smash and dash. This is the one who chose to stay around. This is why, and you said, like, she said, oh, yeah, I'm not the same person, or she's not the same person. Listen, at the end of the day, she's still not worthy of cuffing for that reason. She got a dude who is more than likely a good dude, a guy that loves her, a guy that's not trying to smash and dash her, a guy that's really trying to make her an honest woman, a guy that she decided to marry, right? To marry. And the funny thing about it is, when you simp like this, it's like you don't respect yourself. You as a guy have a low self-esteem. And guess what? She doesn't respect the fact that you have a low self-esteem, the fact that you even decided to be with her, because she doesn't look at, like, you just got to be honest. I'm pretty sure she doesn't look at herself highly. I don't care what she projects. I don't care what she puts out there and stuff like that. Like, she knows subconsciously that she ain't shit, and she really don't deserve a good dude. And that's what a lot of chicks will do. They will self-sabotage. But this is the thing about it. It goes hand in hand with the last video that I made. There has to be something there that brings her in. There has to be, because she's not attracted to the dude like that. That's just what it is. Like, if she's getting disrespectful with him and all of this stuff, and she's getting on a podcast that could be watched globally saying that she doesn't respect her husband, like, and she's just now beginning to get respect for him because he's just now beginning to put his foot down, and you see how that even excites her. She's like, oh, like cheesing and smiling. Like, it's crazy. It's crazy how the game works. It's crazy how women work and stuff like that. And at the end of the day, what did the guy in the last video said? He said, this is why men dog women. That's just what it is. We could sit here and say not all women, but it's such an abundance of women. I won't say that it's most women, but it's such an abundance of women that just operate like this, that will disrespect you if you're not putting your foot down, that will go and will purposely at a certain point in their life think, it's time to settle down and it's time to get a guy who will be tangibly beneficial to me. But at the same time, I'm not attracted to him. If only the guys that I used to attract, that I was attracted to sexually in the past, if only they were husband and long-term mate material, but they're not. They're not. So for a long-term mate that's good to have a household with, something stable, somebody who's going to bring home the bacon, somebody that's not going to leave you, somebody that's not going to cheat on you, they go and get a square. But not just a square. They get somebody that they think is corny. They get somebody that they think is lame. And then now we have them sitting. Now we have the not just the pleasure, but the privilege. I'll be honest. It's actually a privilege. And this is real. I know y'all might think, oh, fuck out here. But it's a privilege to see these chicks sit down in front of these mics and expose themselves. And 9 times out of 10, they're doing it for free on big platforms just for clout. Big platforms to where it's like in the UK, they seeing this. In Australia, they seeing, not just from Washington all the way to Florida, all the way up to Maine, all the way down to New Mexico and the bottom of Cali. No. They're seeing this everywhere. Everywhere. They're seeing it in Canada. Places you're never going to go, they're seeing this. And y'all are sitting down, and you are not, like, this woman here is not special as an individual, just like the last chick is not special as an individual. It is the collective. When you see enough of this, you begin to understand, okay, there are similarities between the woman in this video and a woman in the last video. And that's how you get this scope of female nature. Because it's one thing for me to go to the job and tell stories and then see a bunch of stuff happen in real life and then log on Reddit and hear some stuff. It's all of that is one thing when it's stuff coming out of dudes' mouths or stuff that you got to see in person. It's another thing when you got these chicks sitting down, exposing themselves, exposing how they think on these podcasts. It's crazy. So with that being said, again, like I said in the last video, this is why you got to vet the chicks that you be talking to and stuff like that. And even then, you got to know where you were at as a man, and even then how a chick looks at you. It's certain things. Like I say it all the time. I say it in real life. I say it on here. Like, when it comes to a chick, if you have to jump through 80 hoops, if you got to do 50 first dates, and she not really into you like that, bro. She not really into you like that. She making you jump through the hoops to see how you can benefit her. But that same exact woman, number one, she probably getting smashed by somebody else who ain't taking her nowhere. The other thing is, these chicks get on these podcasts and platforms like, I need the 6-figure dude. They fuck with broke guys before. Like, and really been locked in with broke guys before. And they absolutely loved it while it was going on. And even with some of them, this will be why they dating dudes who getting street money or dudes who got some type of paper some other way, legit paper, whatever the case may be. So when you look at that, you got all of that going on. But when you go as you as an individual, when you go to deal with a chick and she make it easy for you and everything going smooth, she's really into you. And even then, if you peep the vibe, as far as, because it's one thing to say, oh, you just let me hit it off the first date, oh, you must be a hoe. You know how dudes do that shit. Like, if you peep the vibes, if she is really, enhancing your life, if the energy is there, if you could tell that she is really into you, then that's who you need to be looking at as far as who you need to be with. Because the chick who was talking about, she is not into this dude. The two chicks from the last two videos, this video and my last video, they are not into the dudes that they married. And they never were. The chick from the last video said she knew the dude was corny before they got married. This chick said, I fucked 4 of his friends before we got married. They knew that they dudes was goofies before they got married. And guess what? This chick here, she knows she is not cuff worthy. She knows she is not marriage material. And she resents this dude for respecting her and marrying her and all of that stuff. And not having boundaries, etc. Like, it's funny because I have multiple videos where chicks basically say things that insinuate this, but they will try to test their dude and sabotage a relationship in different ways just to see if the dude is going to put their foot down and all of that stuff, So it's just, it gets real funny how manipulative they can be in some cases. But we not going that deep. We done for today, man. Let me know your thoughts. I'm out.